Eytan. Let's now get to you a little bit. Let's talk about you. So tell us about Eytan Wiener. So where did you grow up, and how did you get to be where you are today in terms of your life experiences? Start from the beginning.
Sure. I grew up in Queens, New York, one of the boroughs of New York City. I was actually a pre-med dental student. I went to dental school for a year. I did not like it. I dropped out. I got into digital marketing. Then I got into e-commerce. Then I got into Amazon. You mentioned as you said, I was a seller. I sold that seller business to a public company, a retail company that wanted an online kind of play. And I also was one of the founders of Prosper, where I think we met as well, which is the largest global Amazon seller show. So I got to meet a lot of people like you in the service space and the investor side, in addition to having some fun, learning how to run a show. And, a lot of these Amazon shows are more ubiquitous these days. But when we started that, there was really nothing like it. And that was only 5-6 years ago. Now there's probably too many shows and groups. But it used to be the reality where, similar to some of the things I said on this podcast, people just suffered on their own. Everyone had the same problem. We lived next door, but we never spoke to each other. Through this type of medium in your podcast, people could learn. But it wasn't like that. Everyone was suffering from the same problem and hit their head on the wall. Now there's still pain, but at least you have a community and an insight and internet to help you. But before Prosper, there was some very disparate shows of software companies that were pushing their own agenda. The point of Prosper was to bring in education, content, help, community, and then eventually maybe we'll make some money from it, or it'll lead to something. And that really was a very cool journey for me specifically. And actually, speaking of trade shows, that's actually where I met the guys from Katita, right? That's how everything works. I actually built a reimbursement service in-house. It was okay. Just based on what I spoke about today, you see how complex it is. And they were doing it at a higher level. Became friends with them. I used them to audit my seller account, the business I used to run. And this is just an impactful number. When I sold my business, 13% of my net income was reimbursements.
Wow.
Times the multiple in these days where you sell a business as a multiple of income, a lot. So they got me back $200,000-$300,000 times 3, 4, 5. Like, it's millions of dollars that we were able to get just because we use the service. So you can talk about the 1 to 2%, or you can talk about that. Every dollar you get back, goes straight to the bottom line. The bottom line times the multiple is the value of your business. Not only that, every dollar you get back, if you put it into ad spend, you could see 3 or 4x on it, right?
Yeah.
If you put it into whatever, you could see whatever X growth. That's how we try to create the value, from the seemingly immaterial numbers. That's the impact. And it really moved me. So I wanted to get more involved. And long story short, I invested and I became the CEO and trying to grow the company over the last few years. But that's kind of how it all connected together.
Yeah. So how does, first of all, growing up as a kid and then becoming a dental student. So tell us about what happens in between being a kid.
Yeah, the young ages.
Yes.
I don't know. I was a pretty good, well-behaved kid. I did well in school.
But you had a
Played sports
business mind? I mean, you were into making
No,
money?
no, not at all. No, all my families are like doctors and dentists and lawyers, and I figured I'd just do something like that. My dad's a pretty renowned physician. My uncles are all doctors, dentists. All my good friends are dentists and doctors, for better or worse. And I like science. I actually like it a lot. I'm pretty good at it. But when I went to dental school, fortunately, I did very well in the academics component, but the actual minutia and the repetitive behavior just wasn't for me. And I didn't realize kind of how it would make me feel. So I'm glad I kind of got it earlier than later. If I was a dentist today, I don't think I'd be that happy. And I still have my own challenges today, but I'm very fortunate to be in a more dynamic, iterative, business world and learn about entrepreneurship where I could create things than just day to day, rote. Like, I really dislike school and that whole structure, especially now looking back. But yeah, it was kind of a godly pivot or intervention that I was able to kind of reinvent myself pretty quickly.